What is going on, Riders, and welcome to today's video. A lot of you guys have been asking me, Laser, what build should I get ready for when Worldslayer comes out? Today I'm going to present you guys the best Devastator build you could have for Worldslayer. Fortunately enough, guys, I've had a chance to actually play Worldslayer, and I can tell you for each individual character, I played builds that I thought would work the best, and I will have builds for each character to make sure you guys have the proper build as you get into Worldslayer. So who do you want to see next? Let me know in the comment section down below. But with that being said, guys, we're going to be talking about the Devastator, and I'm going to give you guys the build that I feel that's going to help you carry you all the way from when you launch Worldslayer, if you're already level 30, all the way to endgame. And basically, all you're going to have to do is tweak a couple pieces here and there, move a little bit of mods, and once you guys move all the mods together, especially the new mods that are out with new weapons, this build is still going to keep you solid through, not only carry you through the campaign, but all the way to the endgame. So what exactly are we working on when we're putting this build together? So let's talk about the three fundamental things that we want to do with this build. Number one, we want to make sure that we inflict a lot of damage, and we're doing that infliction of damage by two main things. Number one is bleed, and number two is anomaly power. Number second is we want to make sure that when we are inflicting this damage, we're also getting our health back and buffing our armor, which is extremely important. And number three, guys, is we're making sure that we buff every single aspect of these three things that we're doing by being able to cause a status effect to each enemy, allowing us to be able to do the most amount of damage and clear enemies a lot faster and a lot quicker. So what exactly are we running and why are we running it? Let's jump in and take a look at the weapons and our gear, and then we're going to break down the skills and then give you guys a complete round-off of exactly everything that's taking place. So let's pull up our character. Alright, so let's take a look at our gear, and I'm going to explain why the reason we're going the route we're going, because if you've seen my previous builds from when we first started playing Outriders, it was a little bit different. A lot of things got changed, a lot of things got modified, and I feel that this is going to be very effective for Worldslayer. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, there are going to be a lot of enemies that you're going to have to shoot from ranges. So usually I would run double shotguns, but I wanted to give you guys a weapon that I felt would give you a really good advantage and put you in an AR category where not only you will be doing a lot of damage, but doing a lot of stuff. So let's get started here, guys. We're going with the juggler, and you're probably wondering, Laser, why are we going with the juggler? Well, the reason why we're going with the juggler is for two main things. Number one, we want to take advantage of the scrap grenade. What the scrap grenade is going to allow us to do, it's going to get that first initial hit and do a lot of damage with that first initial hit, allowing us to clear multiple of enemies, or just making sure we get that nice hard hit on the first enemy. Now, the awesome thing about this particular weapon is that after we get that first shot, which we get that damage of projectile shot, we're going to reload our weapon. When we reload our weapon, we're going to make sure we cause vulnerability, because we're going to be adding radiation splash here, that when we ever get close to a target or we get into a boss, that radiation blast is going to allow us to do vulnerability, so it's going to bring down the defenses of that enemy. The next weapon we have, guys, of course, is the Death Shield. Here we're running Fortress. Remember, Fortress did get kind of like a little bit of a nerf, and so did Morning Winds, but still paired together with keeping in confinement with the kind of changes that it had, it's really good as having it as a multiple option. So basically, Fortress, what it does is going to increase your current armor resistance, and it's going to increase your damage by 30%. So that means that after you guys shoot this shot, apply vulnerability, you're going to come in, switch over to your shotgun, hit him with that Fortress, get that 30% extra damage, and then you're going to hit that reload, doing a massive amount of damage with that weapon with the Moaning Winds effect. And overall, in general, that's pretty much it. Basically, let me give you guys a cycle. You shoot with this gun, reload, shoot with this gun, reload, and boom, bada bing, the enemy boss or anybody should be at a very minimal rate. As far as, you know, alchemists, and these are just primary weapons that I would recommend you guys go with. Now, you can go in any other weapon here, but you want to make sure you have stuff that does a lot of power to clear a lot of enemies, and it allows you to shoot at range, and not only applies vulnerability. Now, theoretically, the main thing you guys want is you want to have a nice combo that's going to be able to deal a ton of damage when it comes to boss, especially with the Devastator. Now, as for our pistol, guys, once again, we run Morning Wind here, and we run Clip Combustion, because after we get swapped this one, we could pull this one back out here. Even though Morning Winds is going to be on an 8-second cooldown, we could go still get the Clip Combustion, and then after that, shoot a little bit and hit that Morning Winds again, and then just complete the cycle. Theoretically, you probably won't cycle through your pistol. There's just a case scenario you run out of ammo. Now, as far as gear is concerned, you're going to want to make sure you guys pay close attention to the gear that I'm going to be mentioning and why this gear is going to be very helpful for you guys. So, we are running the Seismic gear set, And we're picking up 3 major pieces here because this is going to increase the damage towards enemies with bleed by 50%. This means that any enemy that you damage with bleed, you will be able to get even extra damage. Now you can boost this up to 80%, which I'll break down in the skills and I'm going to explain why and how. But if you want to get a little bit more bleed damage. But basically here, guys, you're looking for stuff with anomaly power, status power, and skill life leech. Really important because that's where you're going to be getting your health back every time you proc your skills. And once we go to the skills, you're going to notice how fast our cooldown is. So it makes us be able to get that very fast. Now, here we placed a mod within our item, which is called Despair, which is going to proc the enemy to get 2 times more anomaly damage for a total of 5 seconds from the radius of where that gravity leap hits. So it's very important that you understand that because you have 5 seconds to do that extra anomaly damage. And I'm going to explain the combo you need to do in order to maximize this to its full potential. Then we're running Blood Shock. This one already comes with it, so that's pretty much anytime you do the Earthquake, it's going to inflict bleed. That's really important because remember that bleed with that, triple threat right there with the Seismic Commander set, you're going to be doing a lot of damage. The next guys, on this one, we're running the chest piece. Now for the chest piece, we went ahead and modded the second Quake, so that means we're going to get 2 Earthquakes, which is really cool. And this one already comes with the increased skill range. And then we're running, of course, the legs. And on the legs, guys, we went ahead and modded Captain Hunter, which is going to increase your damage against elites by 25%. Of course, we want to make sure we do a lot of damage when it comes to the bosses, because we want to make sure we clear them out really good. This also comes with Tainted Blood, which is going to increase the damage dealt to enemies afflicted with bleed by 25. So, as you see right there, guys, we're already with the set, plus the Tainted Blood, we're already at 75. So we can even take this even higher, up to 100, even more, when I'll explain how in a little bit. Then, guys, on here for the gloves, these are nice purple gloves, once again running anomaly power, status power, and cooldown reduction. As you guys see here, cooldown reduction. I wish this one had cooldown reduction, but I don't. But basically that means that with this one right here, we went ahead and modded the double jump. So that's going to allow me to go ahead and do my gravity leap twice and be able to get and proc that ability, this ability, the spare ability twice, which makes it really cool. And the ground crunch comes in here because that's going to increase the base damage of the earthquake. Not that important, but it helps a little bit. For here, guys, we went ahead and added another extra quake. So that means instead of 1 earthquake, we get a total of 3. And in addition to that, guys, here we modded Untamed Power, which is going to allow us to deal 51 more damage to the enemies within a 5-meter radius. The damage equals to 30% of your anomaly power. Okay, so now that you guys understand that, basically what we're doing here, mostly with these mods, is applying bleed, increasing our anomaly power. That's the main concept of this particular build as far as the gear is concerned, and we're tapping into the whole bleed effect, right? So now that you understand that, let's talk about the skills. So for the skills, of course, we're running Earthquake with a 6-second cooldown, so that means we're going to be able to spam this very frequently. We're running Golem, and I'll explain why we're running Golem. And then we're running Gravity Leap. As you guys see here, very, very, very low cooldowns. This one's on 11, this one's on 6. So basically, by the time you do this one, you'll be able to get 3 of these off, then do this one again, and then you're able to go on by the time you do this 2 cycles, okay? Now, let's talk about the class and the skill tree. So, I want to make sure you guys pay attention to this very importantly, because if you're new or if you're a returning player or old player, I'm going to give you 2 combos and we're only going to be changing one thing. And the reason we're changing that is because if you feel a little bit more comfortable with having a little bit more survivability aspect with this build, then you're going to want to go one route. If you don't, then you're going to go another route. So, we're going bottom tree. We're going to be picking up almost every anomaly point. So, all of these are anomaly points. So that's going to increase our anomaly power exponentially. We're picking up, of course, anything that reduces the cooldown of our pretty much our skills. So, our Earthquake, that's where we get it down to 6.6. We're picking up this one, which is Paladin, which is going to use protection skills, increase anomaly power. This is really important that you understand, because once I explain the combo and how you want to do this, it's going to be extremely important that you understand that when you do the protection skill, or when you ever do Golem, that is going to increase your anomaly power up to 45%. That is a huge amount of power and damage. So you want to make sure that when you're doing this against bosses, against elites, against anything that you want to clear really quick, you want to make sure you do the combo correctly so you guys can get it down. Next, guys, we're going here once again, and we're picking up Strong Arm of Anomaly. So this is basically allowing you to do resistance piercing whenever you melee an enemy. Now, if you're not used to entering or doing a combo with a melee, you could not pick up this nod. I picked up this nod. The reason why is because whenever I'm killing a boss, I hit him with that melee, so I could go ahead and increase the resistance piercing by 15%. which is extremely important when you're killing bosses and you're trying to take out a bunch of enemies. I would go this route. If not, if you feel like you're not that tanky and you're dying too much, skip this one. You don't really need this one that much. I'm going to give you another one that's going to give you even more health. Okay, so I personally don't even die with this build, but if you feel like you're dying because you don't have all the pieces of the gear, I'm going to give you a route that you're going to want to take, and then when you have all the pieces of the gear, you're just going to come and swap this one for the one I'm going to mention. Okay, from here, guys, we're just going to go ahead and increase our resistant piercing. So here we that pretty much cancels each other. Then we have more cooldown, more anomaly power, more cooldown, more anomaly power. We're going to increase our damage by 20% against enemies below 30 health. Really important because as I gave you the weapon combo, if you lead with that weapon combo, the majority of the enemies you end up hitting after the weapon combo should be at 30%. So that's pretty good. Then, guys, we're playing this one, Bloodbath. This is extremely important because it's going to bleed inflicted on enemies deals 30% more damage. Remember, anytime we do our Earthquake, that bleed effect is going to be there, okay? Then we're going to do with Protected by Anomaly. This is just going to increase the armor based off our anomaly power. That's extremely important, and that's where we're picking up our armor. Then we have increased armor by 20% and resistance by 20%. Then we have this one, guys, more resistance, more bleed here. And last but not least, we have Earth Heritage, which is going to increase your Simon skill base damage by 50%. Alright, so you guys remember how I said earlier that you could remove this one? So if you feel like you don't need this one, guys, then you're not using the melee too much, then what you want to do is remove this one and pick up this one right here called Blood Donation. You're pretty much going to be getting your health back every time you do bleed damage. Since you're using your Earthquake every single time, that bleed damage is going to be coming every single time. So that health is going to be coming back to you every single time you do bleed. And this is a very big lifesaver and should give you a ton of survivability. So if you're not going to be using melee and you feel like you're not going to be using this at all, I would definitely suggest you do Blood Donation to make sure you guys stay alive the majority of the time when you're playing the game. Now that you understand that, guys, you're going to notice that we're doing a lot of things here, right? Number one, we're doing bleed. Number two, we're increasing our anomaly power. And number three, we're going to be able to increase our anomaly power even further when we go Golem. So how do you actually do these combos? How do you do this combo? So let me explain what we're doing here. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to do your weapon combo. You're going to shoot first, reload, you're going to swap weapons, you're going to shoot, reload, and then you're ready to do your combo, right? So the enemy should be very low by then. Now, what you want to do is you want to Earthquake. What Earthquake is going to do, it's going to cause bleed. Now, what bleed's going to do, it's going to increase the damage you do to the enemy after that bleed effect. So you're going to hit it once. Then what you're going to do is you're going to gravity leap. Now, you're going to gravity leap and hit the enemy, because when you hit the enemy with that gravity leap or the boss, that boss is then going to take more anomaly damage. Now, remember, we are already proccing that extra anomaly damage because of all the stuff we did with our weapons and of course the bleed effect. After you do the gravity leap, you're going to want to make sure you golem. Okay, so once you golem, you guys now have anomaly increase by 10%. You're going to do another Earthquake, you're going to golem once again, hit him, boom, bada bing, and do your weapon cycle once again. And there you guys have it. That is the perfect combo, and that's how you want to combo this particular build, because that's going to allow you to kill multiple bosses. Now, if it's really just a matter of killing a little bit of pack of enemies, then of course you can just want to Earthquake spam, use your primary weapon, kill a bunch of enemies, reload, whenever you see a boss, cost them with vulnerability and do the combo. But overall, in general, guys, that is the endgame build that's going to carry you not only through the current game right now if you don't have all the pieces, but it will also carry you all the way to Worldslayer, the campaign, plus all the way to endgame. Now, if you are enjoying our Outriders coverage, guys, do me a huge favor, drop a comment, drop a like on who do you want to see a build for next, and if you're ready for Worldslayer in the comment section down below. I highly recommend you check out this video coming up right now on the screen, telling you exactly what the ultimate guide is for the endgame and what you should prepare for and what you should be looking out for when Worldslayer comes out. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys on the next video.